My name is Mario Artacona, and I am the CEO of Habitat for Humanity here in Greater Miami. And on behalf of our entire staff and our board of directors, I want to welcome you to this HabiTour. COVID has had some serious effects on the world, communities. Habitat is no exception. We have had to pivot, and we have had to learn how to do things over again. We have been continuing to build and continuing to do what we do. However, we are unfortunately not able to do it with volunteers. And one of the things that we love most at Habitat is the interaction that we have between our volunteers, our staff, and more importantly, our families. And all of our families have to work sweat equity, and so we really create a bond, and that's been missing. And we've been really affected by this, and I guess we didn't really realize how much the interaction motivates us all until we missed it. So we look forward to having everyone back at a job site when it's safe. And in the meantime, I'm glad we have this opportunity to at least spend a little time together. The greatest plans are sometimes put aside. We had great plans for events. Our yearly hard hats and high heels events in downtown Miami, we had to postpone, as well as our golf tournament. So again, we've had to pivot and change things around a little bit. But what remains a constant is that we are here for families, and we will continue to work to help low-income families become homeowners. So anyway, a couple of really quick housekeeping things. Like I mentioned, I would like everyone to keep yourself muted unless you're speaking. And if you do have any questions, you can use the Q&A function or the chat function, and Ned will reach out to you to see how you want to present those questions, whether over Zoom or just written questions. I'm going to, what we're going to do here today is we're going to be sort of having an interview between one of our homeowners and one of our board members, and I will get to that immediately. But for the benefit of folks who may not know how Habitat works or what it is that we do, I'm going to do the 1 minute presentation. And basically what Habitat is, it is an organization whose sole purpose is to help families become homeowners. That you can't break it down any more than that. We acquire land from various sources, and we make these lots available to partner families. They have to qualify. It's a very complex methodology for selection. You have to submit all sorts of paperwork and many interviews, and Talisa and Monica do a very thorough job. And if everything is in order, you move forward and you sign a letter of intent, and you agree to doing hundreds of hours of sweat equity. Sweat equity means that you're going to be volunteering and building, not just in your own home, but in the home of your colleagues and neighbors. So it's a great way to not just build homes, but to build communities. And again, that's something that we've had to change how sweat equity works now. And so we're I hate to use the term, we're making it up as we go along, but we are reacting to things as they come to us. And so mistakes are made, mistakes are fixed, but we learn from how we're doing this. But we really do miss our volunteers, and I'm sure the construction guys particularly miss them because they're having to do the work of many more. But we are continuing to build, and we've had several closings already this fiscal year, and we're going to have a very productive year regardless of what the environment is. So today we have our star guests are our homeowner Laquica, who is who's been in her home a little over a year, I believe, and we're going to have a little Q&A with her, and it's going to be done by a dear friend and a longtime longtime volunteer and committed volunteer for Habitat, and that's Yami Reyes. And Yami is also the vice chair of the board of directors of Habitat, and has been just a wonderful, wonderful addition to Habitat, not just on the board, but you know, for the last 10 years, you can count on seeing Yami out there building or painting or fundraising for us for all of our events. And it's really great to be able to work with friends for a shared mission. Yami is the director of strategic partnerships at AmeriCaribe LLC. It's a very large construction company. And as I mentioned, she's the vice chair of our board of directors. Has been very, very involved in women building up women. You know, she can tell you a little bit more about what motivates her to work with Habitat. And she will be speaking with Laquica, who's one of our homeowners. She works at Community Health Center. And I'm looking here, she's been in our home since September of 2019. So we're going on a year. So anyway, that's it.
We cannot hear you.
What's that?
It's nothing.
Okay. So I'm going to turn this over. Yami Reyes, the floor is yours. And again, thank you everyone for participating and for being here with us today.
Thanks, Mario. Hi, everyone. My name is Yami Reyes. I'm Vice Chair.
I'm good.
Before I go on, I'm going to remind you to mute yourselves so that you can hear us better and you can hear our guests better. So again, I'm Yami. I'm so happy to be doing this event with you guys. I'm following very big footsteps from one of our other board members, Irby, who is also joining us, and she did the first one of these series. I have been with Habitat for about 10 years, I think. I started with my former employer, and I wanted to see how the houses were built, and I wanted to meet the families. So I went and I volunteered for every single activity that was to be done at the home, except for installation. So I'm not that crazy. So I went and started, and I learned how to do how the whole house starts all the way from the beginning all the way to the landscaping and the trees. And I got to meet a lot of the families, and I got hooked, and then I just started going every Saturday. And I think Irby calls it the same thing I call it. We call it habititis, which we're suffering from right now because we haven't been able to go and build any homes because of COVID. So I'm really looking forward to getting back out there. I've learned so many things from our guys out on the out in these homes who are the real construction guys. We're just there to pretend, but it's a lot of fun to meet the families. If you haven't done it, when we get back to doing these, I urge you to go and take your employees also. It's a great team building exercise. And everybody is an equal when you're out in these homes. And the most important thing is you get to meet the families that are going to eventually end up living in our homes. So with that, I am going to introduce our guest of honor today, who is Laquica. And she's going to tell us a little bit about herself. And I don't want her to tell us too much because then I won't have any questions to ask her. And then we'll move on with the program. So thank you for joining us. And Laquica, thank you for being here and giving us your time today. So tell us about you.
So my name's Laquica, and as Mario mentioned earlier, I've been in my Habitat home. It's going to be our 1-year anniversary next month. I want to say the 19th, and it's been a joy. I work at CHI, Community Health of South Florida. I've been there a little over 5 years, and I'm happy to be here with you all today.
Okay, so we are going to now, we call this a HabiTour. So you are going to be able to see into Laquica's home that she shares with her children. And like she said, she's been there for a little bit under a year or close to a year. So Ned's gonna run the video, right?
Have fun.
That grew in nicely.
Who has homework? So this is the kitchen. Say hi, TJ.
Hi.
This is TJ's living room. That's the dining room. Say hi, girls.
Hi.
This is the hallway. We have a really, really long hallway. Going into the first bathroom, the kids' bathroom. They love their bathroom. It's 2 bathrooms here. And we're so excited to have 2 bathrooms. Jeremiah, what are you doing? Say hi, TJ.
Hi.
It's my son's room. What are y'all doing? They're playing their video games, of course. Why aren't you sitting in the PlayStation chair? More comfortable, right? All right. And what are these 2 doing? It's my daughter's room. Here. My daughter's room. Here's a washer and dryer hookup. Extra bedroom. My daughter and my son, they share this room. And what I love about this room is the 2 closets. I could have not picked the most perfect house. Room with 2 closets. That's funny. Close the door.
That was awesome.
Let me tell you, the last time I was at your house was at the dedication after Blitz, and you have really transformed that place from a house into a home. So congratulations.
Thank you.
On doing that. It looks beautiful.
Your house looks beautiful, Laquica.
Thank you.
It looks
Really
great.
nice. It's great. We're so happy for you.
Thank you so much.
And the basketball, I'm guessing the basketball courts right across the street in that great park are very popular.
Absolutely.
She actually has a story to tell us about the basketball court. So I'm gonna get into that with her. Before we get into the meat of the program, I wanted to welcome our board members. I mentioned that Irby was here. Melissa Sheffield is also here with us. Roberto Lopez, and Eduardo Arthur. So thank you so much for joining us and everyone else that's here. We appreciate you being a part of the Habitat family.
Thank you for being here, everybody.
So just a reminder, if you have any questions or anything that you want to say to us or want to ask either Laquica or one of our team members or myself, the chat function of this is open. So type in your questions on there, and then Alex will be moderating the questions and then reading them off to us so that we can get your answers in. So I'm going to start with Laquica telling us, well, let's get to that basketball court and how, tell us that story of what was special about that with your kids.
It was special because all of them are athletes. All of them are basketball players. So when they saw the court, it was that was the deal breaker. Like, that was, okay, yeah, this is it. This is our home. We're ready. Like, can we move in today? I don't even think we were really done with the house yet, but they were ready for, they were ready to move in when they saw the basketball court.
Well, I love the fact that your son is walking and gets to the street and looks both ways before he crosses the street. That was like a very important part of the video.
Oh, definitely. That's something that I stress all the time. Anywhere, please look both ways, look at your surroundings before you walk into the street.
So in talking to you before we put this program together, you had told me about your experience with Habitat and how you actually came back the second time around. So will you tell us a little bit more about what that experience was, your first time and then your second time?
So what had happened was, the first time that I was going through the process, I had ended up getting sick, like really sick. And I got sick to the point where I was not able to finish the process. And I was not only did I not get to finish, but I didn't qualify, because you have to participate, you know, in the build. You have to submit so many hours. You have to produce your paycheck stub. So if you're not working, or if you're not able to physically, be active and produce the things that Habitat needs, you don't qualify. So, I was told, to come back. And I want to say a few months later, when I think new lots or new homes were going to be available, I was encouraged to apply. So that's what had happened. I came back, after I got well. I was able to go back to work. I was able to come back and apply again for Habitat.
Okay. And what about how do you compare your previous living situation to where you are now with you and your kids, and how did they take to the change as well?
Well, coming from living with my parents to having my own home, obviously it's a major change. I mean, everything changes. I can't depend on my dad or somebody to come fix the toilet or whatever the case is. Now that I have my own home, all those things fall into my lap, and which I'm so appreciative for Habitat, kind of showing us the way, when you're going through the bills, you kind of can, pay attention to the construction workers or what's going on. So I had like some hands-on experience with that, moving into my own home, but it's a major change. It's a big change from living, pretty much utilizing 2 bedrooms at my parents' house to having a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. It's not even, it's a shock, but it's a positive shock. Like, wow, you really have a 4-bedroom house from utilizing only 2 bedrooms. So definitely a big major change there.
Yami, we have a question.
Yami,
we have a question from Christina. And
okay.
Christina, if you want to come off mute and ask Laquica, please feel free.
Okay, hi Laquica. That was amazing, and I'm really happy for you. We've done a few homes over the years for Habitat in different locations, so I know the process. I'm familiar, but I was wondering, from the point that you decided that you wanted to be a homeowner until now that you're almost a one-year homeowner, what would you say has been the most challenging thing for you during that process? Most difficult thing for you?
Most challenging thing? I can't think of a most challenging. I want probably, you know, the first day, you know, when you close and preparing to move in, there's so many things that you have to you get done, as far as, you know, the electricity, the water, the bugs. I want to say the bugs.
Yeah, because you don't anticipate what's coming, right? You probably
No.
don't, like, you can't anticipate.
I'm like, what is this? Like, I've seen bugs that I've never seen before, man. So my dad's a landscaper, so I was like, listen, could you call one of your buddies to come and do something? Because there's bugs everywhere. I want to say that was like, whoa, I don't know how I dealt with that. I was like, this is not it. I have to fix this. So that was definitely challenging. Oh, and the internet here, Wi-Fi, not having Wi-Fi with 4 kids, and Comcast was not, or Xfinity did not, they were not able to come out, and nor did they have there was a line that was not connected, and they were telling me I had to pay some obscene amount of money to get it done. And then so going back and forth with Xfinity and AT&T to trying to get internet, that was a big thing. So that was challenging in itself.
Yeah, it seems like you have to, all of a sudden, like you said, you know, you lived before in another situation, and all of a sudden now you have to resolve all the problems, and you have to think about all the possibilities and things that can happen. So
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
That's a great question. Alex, I see that we have other questions. You want to just call the names of the people who, so that, you know, we want this to be interactive. So I don't want to be asking the questions that you're typing in. If that's okay with you guys.
Yeah.
With asking them.
Sure. So Joan and Eunice were answered privately by Monica. There were general questions about Habitat, but I see Beth here has a question. And Beth, if you want to come off mute and ask directly to Laquica, please do so.
Hi, Laquica. I am Beth with Clay County Habitat for Humanity. We're in North Florida. We're just a little bit kind of a neighbor of Jacksonville and Habitats. Okay. So COVID has affected all of us, and the importance of home has been so kind of came to the forefront with everything. I know there's been a lot of impacts, like schools shutting down and quarantine and all of that. What has been the biggest blessing of having a home during this period?
Well, I would definitely say the fact that I don't have to worry about having unwanted visitors coming to my home, because obviously it's my home, so I'm in charge of who has to enter or who can enter and who won't enter. So I think definitely, you know, being a homeowner and just having myself and my kids here has been a blessing. I don't have to worry about, you know, sharing any room or any space in in another home, and worrying about, you know, if that person was out and got affected or can't, you know, to come in the house and maybe it affect me and the kids. So I think having my own home is definitely a blessing in itself.
Great. We know that you have daughters. We saw them on the video. How did they react to you going through this process and the challenges that we all know that we have to go through? Once we go through these processes, we have to look at our expenses and cut back on some things. How did you deal with that with your kids? And tell us about your daughters also.
One thing that I've learned to do with my children is to be honest and upfront and real. So yes, they went through the journey with me every step of the way. Any challenge that I, face going through with Habitat, I explained it to them. I told them, listen, this is what it is. And there was some times where they weren't so happy. Maybe I couldn't get, I had to cut down on, hair, nails, Medicare, pedicures, all that stuff that they're used to having. I had to cut down on a lot of that stuff because going through Habitat, you have to budget yourself. You have to keep a certain amount of money in your bank account. You can't be doing all this excessive spending. Habitat is very strict when it comes to budgeting and making sure they want you to be able, they want to see that you can afford this home, pretty much is what I'm trying to say. They want to make sure that you're responsible, that you're disciplined, that you could maintain a mortgage. So I had to explain that to the girls, not in all of them. Listen, we are going to cut down eating out. We're going to cut down nails. We're going to learn how to do our own nails. So they understood. I always paint the bigger picture. Like, okay, we cut down here, but this is what we're going to have at the end. And they were very receptive to that.
Okay, great. And so you've been in the house now for almost a year, right? Next month it'll be a year.
Yes.
So what's one of your favorite memories that you have already created with your children in your new home?
There's been so many memories created here already. It's been a blessing. I moved in September, so I moved in right before the holidays, so Thanksgiving was right around the corner. We have Thanksgiving here. We had Christmas Eve and Christmas Day here. Easter, like my house has been like the go-to house. I had to put a stop to it because of course I have to clean up. I have to pay for all the food and all that stuff. And I was like, oh no, we're gonna stop. I'm gonna stop entertaining for a little bit because no one wants to help me clean up and no one wants to help me buy stuff. So I want to say pretty much my first time where I was able to entertain was Thanksgiving. That was really nice. And because everyone on this street, it was all our first time. We were, everybody was like outside. It was like one big family block party. It was super nice. It was really nice. And I think that's my most memorable experience so far.
That's great. That's great. So I think we have a question, right? We have two. Alex?
Yeah, they're pretty much the same. Alicia and Melissa are on the same wavelength right now. So
like they're talking to one another.
Exactly, like they're texting. Either one of you, whoever wants to come up and ask the question can, or I can for you guys.
Yeah. So I don't know Melissa, but we're on the same wavelength. The question is very similar. So first of all, what a great lesson for your kids, right? I'm all for that because kids learn by example, and you setting the right example for them in their future. What a great thing. My question was, did they have to change schools to move into this house? And if they did, how have they adapted to that?
No, they didn't have to change schools. That was one of the things that I thought about when I picked this lot. And my job is literally 5 minutes away. And I have two that was at the Montessori that's right on the same street as my job. So to that effect, no, they did not have to change schools. And I think now the oldest one, he's like, he goes to Killian. So he was like, Mom, I'm already in 11th grade. I don't want to change. I have my friends at Killian already. I don't want to go through that. So we just, I just made the necessary arrangements so he could, finish out his school at Killian. So that was the only thing. Now that both of the girls got accepted into Coral Reef Senior High School. So I'm going to be taking them to school in the morning once school does start back in. But no, nothing has changed. And I still have the 9-year-old. He still will go, go to school next to my job. So everything, it's like this house was handpicked for me. Everything just, adds up. It works out.
That's great. And congratulations on getting the kids into Coral Reef. I know Alicia's both.
Yeah, the twins both went to Coral Reef, and my oldest son went to Killian. So good job, Mom.
Yeah, great schools. My kids went to Killian as well. So I've asked you the happy times in your home, and so, but as when we move into our new homes, we always we worry about different things, and so you told us about the bug situation. But have you had anything else that you were like, whoa, I don't really know how to do this? Or when I first moved into my first home, I was newly married and I had a plumbing issue. So I had no idea. My ex-husband wasn't there. I didn't know what to do. And I was new to Miami. So I was just like, who do I call? I don't have any friends. So I called like the first plumber I found, back in the day in the yellow pages. So it wasn't a pleasant experience. So what about you? What's been going on at your house that you're like, as a single mom too? So I'm a single mom, so I know all about Alicia, you were a single mom for a long time. So we know the troubles that we go through as single women. So tell us something that you can share with us in the comfort of your Habitat family.
The bug takes the cake. That was by far the worst. I'm not gonna
traumatized by the bugs.
You said what type of bugs it was? I can't tell you the name of the bugs in the nails. I was Googling. I had to Google the what is it? Like I was just putting like little things like little worm with legs. Like I was just putting names in there so it would add up. So I would get some information. I'm like, what is this? So it was that, but everything's under control. I have a great spray guy. He's awesome. Like I call him for every little thing. If I take a picture of it, I send it to him. I'm like, what is that? Could you tell me what that is and get rid of it? So that's by far the worst. The other thing is, I want to say, I really have no. I'm sorry. My neighborhood is perfect. I'm happy. My house is perfect.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
That's amazing.
Let me jump in here real quick because I wanted to ask a question about, Laquica, your home was one of 10 built during Blitz 2 years ago, and you're in a little neighborhood with a few more Habitat homes. Tell me, in general, when we built these houses, we built them all at the same time, and all the homeowners sort of celebrated together. How much of that camaraderie carries over? And realistically, over the years, like, do you think that some of those friendships are still? You still have any good friends from your then Blitz partners, now neighbors?
Oh, absolutely. Everyone on this street, literally everyone on the street. One of them I known before the build, but everybody else, like, we have the best relationships. Like, we have the best relationships. And even when we were like doing our hours together, that was our time to like get to know one another. And the bond that we had during, working on our homes, it did carry over. And I think we'll be friends until, even if we decide to, move or something, we've built very strong bonds. Even more so now during the COVID pandemic. A lot of us had to, work from home for a little while. So I found myself outside more. So my neighbors, they would see me outside. We would just talk, sit on the porch or whatever. I was working in the yard a little bit more. So the friendships that were built during you know, when we were building, we got stronger, definitely.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, one of the things we talk about when we, as board members and as the team at Habitat, is we talk about that we're not just building homes, we're also building communities within our communities. So this, you telling that really just, it solidifies what we are telling people, that, you know, these were vacant lots, and then now we put families in these homes, and you know, during COVID, a very stressful time for all of us, you all came together and have been helping one another. So that's important, and it's also important for your kids to see that, you know. So
absolutely.
A little personal story of someone who's here with us today, Alicia. She's been a great friend of Habitat. So Alicia and I have known each other since our kids were 8 years old. Our kids are now mid-20. The way we met was because they were, our kids were friends in school. So Alicia was a single mom, I was a single mom. So we used to bond during the neighborhood things. And so we would do Halloweens together, and I would go over to her neighborhood, which was just down the street from me. And then the kids would do Halloween together, and she and I would walk around and catch up, and, you know, and just kind of became friends through our children, but also through the fact that we shared so many things in common, and we also lived in Kendall. So we try to make, you know, friendships within your neighborhood. So that's really important. And look, here we are, 20 some, God, I can't even say that, but a lot of years later, and we're still friends. So it's important to build that camaraderie around the people that you know, with the people that live around you. And us earlier that somebody else that you know has also been accepted to the program, right?
Right. One of my good friends, I found out yesterday that she accepted the lot right next door to me. Like, it was the empty lot next door, and she accepted the lot.
That's great. So
yeah,
you're gonna have a lot more friends in the neighborhood to.
Oh yeah.
pick up that Halloween habit that Alicia and I used to have. It makes it a lot of fun. Maybe not this year, but hopefully next year.
Next year, yes.
All right. We have a question, right?
Okay. Yes, we have a question from Zainab from the audience. Zainab, if you want to come off mute and ask it, please do so. Of
course. Hi. What I wanted to know, first of all, your home is beautiful. I hope you live in it in happy, healthy, abundant days. And
thank you.
What I wanted to know, you know, as a woman myself, anytime I move to any new neighborhood, I am always a little edgy about security and safety. How did you feel about, how do you feel about safety and security in your new home and your new neighborhood?
Safety was obviously, that was number one. That was very important. And as I mentioned earlier, I lived with my parents. My dad's very old school. So 7 o'clock, I'm used to, if we weren't in by 7, still as an adult, the gates would be closed, locked, shut. My dad has lights and cameras everywhere. So security and safety definitely was important for me. And before I chose a lot, I came over, I think I came on my lunch break, and I strolled the neighborhood, and then I came back later that night and I strolled it again, and I saw the park. The one thing that I love about it is that I have no neighbors in front of me. There's a park. There's a park that's, the lights go off when it gets dark. There's a police officer that goes and sit in the park. There's a Miami-Dade park officer that goes and sit in the park. So then I felt, I'm like, okay, this is a good thing, because, the park is here, it's dark, but there's someone there. The officer, he patrols maybe every hour on the dot. The park officer, he comes and he sits maybe sometimes 30 minutes at a time. So the security, I feel safe. And even when we moved in, I took the necessary precautions. I got my camera, I got my doorbell with the camera on it and things like that. And let me tell you, I feel very safe in this neighborhood. I purposely put a TV outside by the garbage can just to see. I was getting rid of the TV anyway, but I just put it there just to see. No one touched the TV. It was a flat screen TV. It was like a 37-inch TV, and it sat there until the trash came. And I'm like, okay, no one touched it. I mean, it was, and I'm being honest, it was one of the weirdest things. I'm like, no one touched the TV? Okay, fine. So I have mulch sitting on the side of the house. I keep things outside and no one bothers anything. I've been truly blessed to be in this neighborhood. I'm so happy that I chose this area, and I'm beyond blessed with that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. I love that answer. It makes me feel good in my heart to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you another question, because you know, one of the things we take such great pride is that the price of Habitat homes and the affordability of homes, it's based on your income, and it doesn't exceed, you know, 30% of your income. You know, that sounds good on paper when we talk to you about it. And how's it worked out financially? Is the number the numbers are working out for you?
Yes, the number works out perfectly well. It's totally affordable, totally affordable. And I think that's, you know, I always tell Alex and Maureen, like, I feel like I'm the Habitat ambassador. I always talk about Habitat. I'm like, I always say, listen, the Habitat homes, they're extremely nice and affordable. It works my budget, no questions asked.
The water hose.
Close the door. I'm sorry. It works with my income. I have no issues at all when it comes to budgeting and paying my mortgage and things like that. It works out perfectly fine.
That's wonderful to hear. And you know, on the security issue, I think the fact that you all sort of look out for each other too. You know, you put 10 Habitat houses next to each other. It's sort of a built-in crime watch. So well, that's another plus. So anyone out there that has land where we could build contiguous lots, please call me, because, you know, that is the biggest challenge that we are facing at Habitat is the availability and the affordability of land. So we want to pass the savings on to our homeowners, but we need to find that land. So, you know, everybody can keep their ears open, because you never know where that opportunity is going to come from. It could be an afterthought that someone had a conversation with someone else. And so I just needed to put that out there, because, you know, we're looking for all the help that we can get.
Yami, we have a question from Lydia. So Lydia, if you want to come off mute, Lydia is a great supporter of us. She's also part of the Building Up Women program and Women's Leadership Council, and she has a question for Laquica.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you, what advice would you have for single moms out there that want to follow in your footsteps?
Oh, what I would say is, do not give up. You know, especially, you know, when going through this process. You know, it's not an easy process. I'm not gonna say that, oh, it was bittersweet. No, it's not easy. But I will say that it's doable. It's doable. You discipline yourself and you can make it. You can get through it and you can own your home. It's totally doable. You have to follow, obviously you have to follow the rules of the program and what the program requires. And listen to the staff when telling you something that it's for your good. That's what I would say. You could do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. You can put yourself focused, listen to the staff, and there's gonna be rocks thrown. You're gonna run into brick walls, but you have to pick yourself up and keep going, and don't give up.
And Yami, we have another great question from Christina. It's probably a question for Mario and Laquica at the same time. So Christina, if you want to come off and ask it, please feel free.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of a double question here, but so now you're home, once you have these homeowners, and then of course the homes are new, so the expected repairs and so forth are probably minimal, hopefully in these cases. But I'm curious, does Habitat support the homeowners in any kind of education and training more long-term? So when things come up, whether it's repairs or they get into a bind or something happens, so that they can stay in the home and they don't fall into a hole should there be, some unexpected, situation or repair. How does somebody like Laquica come back? Does she come back to Habitat, or is there like an ongoing support for a potential homeowner?
Well, I will take that question, and it's a very, very good one. So, when I gave my 1-minute introduction to Habitat, I kind of ran through many things, but as part of the sweat equity hours, of which the minimum is 250 hours, so it's substantial. As part of the sweat equity, our homeowners have to go through a series of workshops ranging from hurricane preparedness to maintenance to budgeting to civics class, and that really provides a lot of tools, not necessarily how to fix everything, but to not be overwhelmed by things will break, and just sort of giving them the tools for some of the easy repairs. I will say we build great homes and we provide a warranty, but let's say after 5 years, something does go wrong. Very much like any homeowner, that responsibility does fall on them. And obviously we look into if there was anything in either manufacturing or in the construction, but those things are just the same whether you bought your home from Lennar or from anyone else. It is very much your home and your responsibility. And it is important. And one of those workshops, like I said, it's on budgeting and maintenance, is to prepare for those types of situations that we all face them.
Right.
And to the last part of your question, regardless of maintenance or not, we find that the relationship with our homeowners remains many years, in many instances, well after their process. Granted, they're reminded of us every month when they have to write a mortgage payment, so we stay in the core. But really, look, it's a weeknight. Laquica has 4 children. She's doing this out of gratitude and out of the kindness of her heart. She doesn't need her sweat equity's over. Her house is hers. But just like that, folks are so grateful of the opportunity that they want to jump at the opportunity to pay it forward. And another one of the beautiful things of Habitat is paying it forward because of gratitude.
Great. Thank you.
I don't know if you wanted to add anything, Laquica, but
I wanted to say the classes that Habitat provides while going through the process are definitely great resources. They do an amazing job with getting us prepared for home ownership, and I think it's about 4 or 5 classes, and each one of them come with so much education. They come with so much information in getting us prepared to walk into the home. Even when we close, we left with a binder. So I still utilize my binder. It's almost a year. I go back to it and I look through it and I'm like, okay, all right. So I remember this. So definitely, Habitat, they want you to move in the house, but they just don't kick you into the home. They prepare you for it.
Right. That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we have a question from the audience. I think from Marjorie. If you wanted to come off mute and ask Laquice and Yami and Mario.
Hi, everybody. This is so great to see Laquica. I've never met you, and I've never been to your house, but I'm so happy to see, you and your family and doing so great there.
Thank you.
I can't describe how great it is. I was just wondering who everybody is in the video, because I don't know. I only know a few people here, and I don't know most of the people, so I don't know what everybody's role is in this.
Well, our audience is made up of some of our staff, some of our Habitat friends, board members. I'll speak for myself. The way I play a role is, aside from being a board member, a couple of us in the audience are also part of the Women Building Up Women initiative. And so we raise money specifically for single moms. So we have one annual fundraiser, and then we have teams, and we try to raise as much money as we can in order to be able to build a home for a single mom. That's just outside of the regular fundraising activities that we have. And Alex, maybe you or Maureen can talk about who else is in the audience.
Yeah, sure. Go Mario, go for it.
Well, go ahead.
No, you go for it, Mario. You got it.
Well, I mean, I just did a quick scroll while you were speaking, and it is a wonderful combination. And actually, it's sort of a microcosm of Habitat. It is some partner families, board members, there's sponsors, there's volunteers, there's people who are just interested in what we do, different walks of life, and the one shared thing is that we want to see families do well and move forward. So as I look at all these faces, I see some colleagues from Broward and from other habitats. One of the things that we're all learning from each other, how to have these functions and how to do things in the COVID era, because we have to relearn sort of everything. So the answer to your question is there is a broad spectrum of people here, from staff to sponsors to volunteers to board members. So it's just really, really great. And I mentioned before how much we miss this. I was talking to Maureen about how, at work we're either working remotely or working in staggered schedules. Like, there are people from work that I haven't physically seen in 5-6 weeks because they're in on Tuesdays and Thursdays and I'm in, and we haven't been together in so long. And, if you spent 15 minutes in our lunchroom sometimes during normal times, everybody's on top of each other and talking about the families and the blitzes and about our families, and that camaraderie is so missed. So I'm delighted to see, three pages of faces, and we really needed to recharge the batteries. So I'm very appreciative of everyone for being here.
Well, thank you. I mean, it's nice to meet everybody. I don't know who anybody is, but I love seeing everybody working together. It's really something great.
Thank you for being here as well.
Good luck to Laquica and her new house. Your house is beautiful and your family is amazing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're amazing.
So we're trying to keep the event into within the hour. So I'm going to wrap this up. Laquica, thank you so much for joining us. Hearing you, this is the second time, third or fourth time maybe I've spoken to you, and it's always such a pleasure to hear your stories, and it's always so nice to hear you talk about Habitat, because I feel like every time I talk to you, I learn something new, and then you give me more speaking points to when I go out and talk to people. So it's great. Yeah. You are definitely an ambassador for us, and I think we'll be calling on you a lot more to do these types of events so that you can tell our story. It's no one else can tell the Habitat story better than a homeowner. So we appreciate you being here. I appreciate everyone else being here. Maureen has a couple of words for us. Obviously, we need your help. We need you to stay engaged. We need all of you to continue being part of our family. And Maureen's got some announcements on how you can continue helping us and so that we can move forward and have many more Laquica.
Well, thank you so much, Yami and Laquica. I think they deserve a virtual round of applause or a thumbs up. Or thank you so much. We're so grateful, and you know, it's families, it's women like Laquica that motivate us to do what we do and to love our jobs. And Laquica she really inspires us. Her perseverance. You know, she talked about how it was not easy to get it, and even told us a story one time of her two daughters coming to her and saying how proud of her that they were, because they saw how hard it was and she did not give up and she persevered, and the love that she has for her family comes through, as well as her generosity, as Mario mentioned, for giving of her time and being our amazing ambassador. And thanks to all of you. Mario already went through all the different groups of people that are here, and I do want to let you know about one event that's coming up on August 27th, a virtual auction that we're doing with items, about over 30 items that were generously donated. Originally, they would have been auctioned at our Hard Hats and High Heels event, but we're doing it virtually from August 27th to September 3rd. So watch out for that, and let us know if you'd like to you know, to get engaged. If you're not already engaged with Habitat, we'd love to have you out on the site when it's safe to do so, or get engaged other ways in the meantime. So thank you so much for everyone. It's, you know, because of all of you that we can do what we do, and without you, we cannot do it. And so we thank you, and we hope that you all stay safe.
Okay, thanks everyone. This is the end of our program. Thank you for being here.